So I believe I am sharing here.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Excellent. All right. So this match here is a match of mine from Rio Grande Slam in Brazil, and I think it was 2019. And I actually took gold in this tournament, so that was awesome. And I think this is like one of the eliminatory or quarterfinal rounds. I don't know how you want to do it. Do you want to ask a question or?
I was gonna. If I'm gonna have a question, I'm gonna
Sure,
ask
sure, sure.
if you want
Okay.
to handle the breakdown. You're
Okay, sure, sure,
much more
sure.
qualified than me.
Ah, but feel free to chime in. Whenever I'll just start. I'll just go ahead and start here. Um, basically, when I'm fighting someone, I'm always looking. Obviously, I always reach with my left hand here. I'm always gonna reach with my left hand to open up this far side collar here, and then I'll pass it to my right hand because that's a safe way to do it. If I were to reach with my right hand first, then he has the chance to shoot on me. So I always reach with my left hand, open the collar, and then I set up my pool, as you'll see here in a second. And exactly.
Yeah.
And then now I actually like people don't really do this too often. They don't necessarily go double collar pool, but it's very, very safe because when you can get double collars, like now I have double collars. I don't have the sleeve or anything. You have so much pulling power to pull your opponent, whether into close guard or whatever guard you really want. So some people they're so, I guess you could say, stingy, or not stingy. Stingy is not the right word, but so overzealous with their grips. They want like the perfect grips to pull. But honestly, double collar is really, really strong. It'll break their posture right away. You can pull really, really easily.
And
That's what I do most often.
does it also create the frames just in case they try to go
Yeah, of
high quickly?
course.
You can easily
Man,
just.
of course, there's zero throw, zero takedown opportunity when I have double collars. Like it's gonna be really, really difficult.
So would you say that's your primary entry when?
Nah, I wouldn't say it's my primary. I would just say it's the most simple pool that I use. I would say that. And as you can see here, my opponent he has his left leg forward, so I wouldn't really be able to get what I want. What I actually want, or what I like, perfect case scenario, he would have his his right leg forward, and I would just be able to spin to this left side de la Hiva. It would be my left side de la Hiva, and get the pants. That's what I'm kind of wanting. If perfect case scenario, that's what I would want basically. But I don't have that opportunity, so I just pull either way. And you see how I pull here? I always keep my foot on the outside of his leg. If he pushes my leg inside, then I'm in like a kind of a not so good knee cut. This is almost like a
Yeah.
key master position that Tommy Langaker uses quite often, actually. But basically, from this position, I'm just trying to set up my collar sleeve options because from this position, just like how Tommy plays, I have studied a bit of Tommy as well. Just like how Tommy plays, you have a lot of options in order to get to X guard on that far side. I'm basically from this position. I'm looking to get my collar sleeve so I can start inverting or lifting and get to that X guard, get to this leg. I want this leg basically the whole time. I'm not even really too overly preoccupied with this leg here. It's just kind of just there, I guess you could say. And here, rather than going for the X guard, I noticed that his leg in the back here, it drops to the mat. His knee drops to the mat. So therefore, it's going to be very, very easy for me to go for these Hodger Gracie style attempts. I don't know if you've watched too much Hodger Gracie, but all I would really need to do would be to collect this sleeve, his far side sleeve, and then I would be able to stand up on my hand and do a hip bridge, as you'll see here in a second. So like you see how I'm collecting this far side sleeve
Yeah.
with my right hand. Yeah, I'm trying to get that cross grip, and then I can actually unlock my legs and do a hip bridge, as you'll see
So
me
you're going
attempt to
cross
do.
sleeve, right?
Exactly. Um, I'm trying to use my right hand to occupy or get the grip on his right hand, and then I'll kind of be cross, and then I'm able to stand up my elbow on the mat, as you'll see here in a second. So we'll just go ahead and go. So I think I actually do get, yeah, exactly. So now I'm getting my elbow on the mat, and ideally, I would have my hand on the mat. I would get up on my elbow and then hand and then go for this hip bridge. But he kind of is a little bit savvy to it, and this guy was really, really strong for some reason. Like look how I go here. I do actually get up to my hand, and this in if we go back just a second, I yeah. I'm dropping my left foot, this left foot here, to the mat. right next to his knee, and that's going to block his knee from kind of moving, and that'll allow me to go for this tilt style sweep. And it's a really, really easy, effective sweep that I think is really underutilized. He almost falls over, but I didn't get it. And I go for single leg, but it didn't seem like it was on. And I just kind of bailed back into this reverse del Hiva. And when I play reverse del Hiva, oftentimes I actually prefer to keep this hook inside, like how it is now, because now I'm playing like a reverse del Hiva slash butterfly situation, which is still a very, very strong position. And as you can see here, I'm looking for my collar sleeve now. I have this cross collar. I'm always looking for this cross collar because not only is it really, really offensive, it's super defensive as well. If he ever tries to pass, whether right or left, I can always get up to my left elbow, the elbow that's you can't see at the moment, and just stiff arm and extend him away. So we'll see what I do.
How quickly in your matches do you usually look for that? Because I know you went for the double collar pull, then you went for the far side collar, and now you're just going for the near side collar. Is there any like specific like position that you look for it, or is it just based on feel?
It's all the time. I'm always looking for his hand. I'm always looking for that far side sleeve. Oftentimes it's not available, so I have to kind of use my legs to make it available in regards to different off balances or things like that. That's basically what I'm looking for. When my opponent is passing with his opposite leg forward, see, I consider this the opposite leg. I would much prefer him to be passing with that right leg forward. But because he's passing with this left leg forward, I'm constantly, in my mind, is find collar sleeve as quickly as possible because I know that's the strongest control from this position and the most efficient and effective entries into single leg X are from these two grips, both the collar and the either the pants or the sleeve into collar sleeve. So, and basically what I did with this position, like I was saying earlier, I just had the butterfly hook because that's going to allow me to elevate him later on in the match. And now once you have this butterfly hook as well, and I think I actually do have his sleeve control with my left hand. So this is my right hand. With my other hand, my left hand. Now I'm free to kind of release this reverse del Hiva hook. It's no longer overly important because my knee is out. My knee is out of this position. And therefore, I'm not really in any danger. And I can start going for different butterfly hook elevations into the X guard position. And you see how I have the sleeve. I'm constantly pushing the sleeve underneath his body because I want to make him off balance. The more I can push this underneath him and use this elevation, I can start elevating in this direction. And then therefore, like I'll be able to finally let go of the sleeve and reach this leg that I really, really want. This is the leg that I want like the whole time. Let's see here. Now it's coming closer.
Yeah,
now I get the elevation index.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So you went for the hook sweep there to make him elevate so that you could bring in that leg to go to X.
Exactly. I was just looking for that leg the whole time.
Yeah.
And then now from this position, I'm kind of I would prefer now I'm in the single leg X style position, and you see how I'm also turning my body, like I'm kind of crunching up, turning my body.
Yeah, you're at the angle.
Exactly. I'm changing this angle so that it's easier for me to reach his far pant here. I'm trying to I kind of like I crunch my body to the right. I actually created a DVD just recently that's going to come out within the next few weeks or so, just completely based on X guard. But what I'm doing from this position, I'm kind of crunching up and I'm twisting my body to my right, and that allows me to reach this pant really, really easily, as you'll see here in a second.
Where on the pants do you grab? Do you grab at the knee line, or do you grab?
Yeah. I'll show you just right here. Oh, I forgot to mention that he actually has my sleeve because he knows what I want. He knows that I want this pant grip. What I would do is I would try and grab right here. Like there's normally a lot more material to grab, and I always grab palm up because palm up is always much more difficult to break than palm down. If I were to grab palm down, he would just be able to grab my hand and pull up because that's the direction. That's the opposite direction of my fingers, so my grip would break. But if I grab palm down, he has to push my grip down, and it's much more difficult to get pushing leverage while standing, which is very advantageous to me. So it's a much stronger grip, basically. And now I'm hiding this grip, and now I get the grip, exactly. And now it's going to be very, very difficult for him. Actually, does break it.
Are you worried at all about his grip he has on your collar right now, or is that just
No, man. I think that's a silly move by him, honestly. I mean, he's basically just holding the collar in order to keep his base, which isn't silly, I guess. But
it
I
doesn't put him
wouldn't.
in any offensive position to?
Exactly. He doesn't have any offensive potential holding my collar. Exactly. And I actually do a really nice grip break here in a second that you'll see. Like he's grabbing my hand, and I'm trying to reach for that pan over and over again. And this is the cool little grip break here. So I bring my knee right here. Yeah, exactly. You see how I brought my hand inside? I brought my hand inside. I'm kind of like sandwiching my hand within his hand and his leg and my leg, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to use that pressure to strip this grip. So I'm going to put pressure. I'm going to put pressure this way. Sorry, let me use this.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to put pressure this way, which will kind of constrict the grip and constrict his grip and not let him kind of move with it. And then I'll be able to easily just pull my hand out from the position, as you'll see here right now. Exactly. So now I'm free once again. And yeah, now I'm ready to really get this pan grip. Right. And I'm kind of, as you can see, I'm kind of hiding playing this game here. I don't want him to grab this again. And then you see this little nice off balance. This is one of like the most powerful, and I never see anyone else use this. This is a thing that actually Michael Liera taught me. Really, really strong. You'll see my knee. Actually, I don't think yeah, there we go. You see this foot comes right directly behind his knee. Oftentimes people teach this this kind of tilt sweep is what it's called, by bringing the foot down to the foot. And then like a classic Marcelo Garcia type deal.
That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, honestly, it's really, really not a good technique, especially against somebody high level and strong, because right when you bring this leg low to their ankle, they're going to high step out of your position. So what I do rather is I bring it right behind their kneecap, right in their like little the crink of their hamstring, I guess you could say, right behind their kneecap. And then I use my heel here to drag his hips down to the mat. And in doing that, so basically, if you think about it, I'm creating downward force with my heel, and then I'm chopping out his base right behind his knee, and it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm chopping his base like this way, as at the same time I'm elevating his leg with my arm up. So there's a lot of like crazy, I guess, physics going on here. I'm lifting up his leg, almost doing like a muscle sweep by lifting his leg up, trying to get that foot off the mat. And then I'm driving his leg down, so his base is like kind of compromised, and I'm kicking his leg out all at the same time. I'm doing all these three things at the same time, and therefore like he just can't keep his base. He's gonna have to post on his hand and kind of like regain everything, as you'll see in a second. It's like, man, this is it's in my DVD. It's really, really strong. I think it's one of the strongest off balances from single leg X, and I use it pretty much every single day of my life.
So are you trying to just off balance here, or is it a sweep that also off balances?
It is a sweep. It is a sweep, but it's mainly an off balance. Honestly, like you can sweep oftentimes from this, and I do sweep people oftentimes from this, but it's definitely more so commonly, or I commonly use it as an off balance as well to get either an underhook or just like get the guy off me for a second. And then you can see I finally get my pant grip. And I'm always using these little hooks here. So I go for the off balance. And now his base is kind of off. He's kind of like worried a bit about this leg, as you can see. Now his hand is on the leg. He was like, I didn't like that. And then now my left hand here that he was tracking before is much more free to start reaching for this pant. And this hook here that's behind his kneecap is going to move more towards his center line, more towards right underneath his butt, to elevate him slightly forward so that this leg is a little bit closer for me to grab the pants. Like you see how I did the nice little elevation. Now the pants are pretty accessible here in a second. There we go.
He's in no position to defend with that balance.
Exactly. So now I'm really in one of the strongest positions of X guard. As you can see, like I not only have this underhook here, which I actually prefer. Many people don't play underhook single leg X, but it's ridiculously strong. I actually never really like to play underhook classic X guard with the leg all the way through. I'm always looking for this underhook single X because then you have this ability to use that heel like I was talking about earlier. And now that I have both pants, he's literally trapped. He has nothing he can really do other than put this knee on the mat. And in putting the knee on the mat, it would just help me even more. It would help me stand up because putting the knee on the mat is commonly just a defensive measure. There are very, very, very few attacks or any sort of passing options when your opponent puts the knee on the mat. And now I have so many options from this position. I can just go for this tilt sweep again. But as you can see here, his base is very, very far forward. So it would be difficult to tilt him backwards, right? It would be difficult to kick him this way. So I need to start elevating him forward because he's still kind of controlling me. As you can see, he still has a hand on my collar, which is going to stop me to some degree from standing up and really sweeping him. So I'm going to have to bring his base forward somehow. And you'll see in a second what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to bring this hook inside and use that hook. Now, as you can see, like I was telling you earlier, it's much, much more difficult to break this
once
grip.
Once it's palm up, yeah.
Exactly, because as you saw just a second ago, this guy's a really strong guy, and he can't pull it up. He's like, what the heck? And then he tries to push it down. He can't push it down. It's a really strong grip, man. And I go for this little hip bridge here in a second, but I notice it's not working because his base, as you can see, his base here is really like, I don't have the best tool for this. I almost like a line tool. But anyway, his base is like super far forward. It's not a good arrow. But he's like, if he were to be more postured up, his chest is very much over his hips, is what I'm trying to say. Therefore, it's going to be difficult to knock him over because his weight is so far forward. So I'm going to have to use that against him. He's overcorrecting himself. Therefore, I have to use that against him and kind of push him even farther forward and make a mistake, which would be putting his hand on the mat. And as you can see, I kind of inserted that left hook inside. Let's go back just a quick second. I went from the single leg X for the foot and hip. Now that I have both pants, it's very, very safe for me to bring this left leg inside. If I don't have both pants, it can be relatively unsafe because maybe he high steps. But because I have both pants, there are zero high stepping opportunities for my opponent. So I can easily just bring that left foot right underneath and start kicking him forward, as you'll see here in a second. Right here. Now,
once you bring it in, there's no chance.
Now, as you can see, like, he's really off balance here. He's like, what the heck is going on? So he's got to let go of these grips that he's been so adamant on lately, as you'll see here. Like, he has to let go. And now it's free. Like, now it's time to come up because he literally just put all his base to his left. And now it's going to be very, very easy for me to just stand up. And that's exactly what I do. And then just come up here. Now, this isn't necessarily a seagull sweep at all. This is a classic, just like a take out the trash sweep. But I come up differently. I do a classic technical stand-up in this situation. I misspoke there. But oftentimes I do a modified stand-up from this position. But because I don't have this collar grip, if I have a collar grip, I will go for a modified stand-up, which isn't the classic technical stand-up. The modified stand-up is when I bring both legs completely behind my body and then stand up while putting all the weight on the collar. But because I did not have a collar grip, I didn't have to do that. I just did the classic technical stand-up. As you can see, I put my hand on the mat, my left leg comes back, my right leg kicks as I pull my leg out from underneath me. Now I'm up. And now basically from this position, he's bringing my upper body down, which is really smart of him actually. So I have to kind of like collect my base before I do anything and then grab the collar. And now this is my favorite finish, honestly. From this position, you have so much control. Not only do you have lower body control, lifting his leg up, but you also have this upper body control, which you can just drive down. And you'll see that's exactly what I do. It's a really, really simple finish. And even against tough wrestlers, you can get this finish. So I just start driving him forward. And he posts the hand on the mat. And right when anyone posts their hand on the mat from this position, it's like a trigger in my head in regards to just like sprinting forward. And that's exactly what I do. It's kind of funny in a way. They even do like a slow-mo at the end. And you can just sprint him over and
So if his leg's like that, it seems like once he puts his hand on the mat, there is a path to the back available. Is there?
It's tough to say because as you can see here, his hand is still blocking that path to the back. And in my opinion, I try to do everything really safe. I try to not take too many risks, especially when I'm competing, because I just not that I just want to win, but I want to make sure I win before I take any risks, if that makes sense. So in this situation, there isn't a big path to the back because this hand is still on the collar. And like I said, even if this hand was on the mat, or even if this hand wasn't there, I wouldn't even try and take the back. I would try and run him over still. Now you're just kind of like a bulldozer, and you run them. Exactly.
Yeah, and you make sure you keep that pant leg so you can post it.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm constantly trying to like pin one side of his hips to the mat. Now that I finally have him on the mat, you'll see I'm always trying to bring one side of his hips to the mat, because if his hips are square, I wish I had a better example, but if his hips were square, it would be very, very difficult to start this side smash or folding pass that I do so often. When you want to start such a pass like either of those two, you want to pin at least one side of your opponent's hip to the mat before you start entering into those style of passes. And now I switch to the collar here. And then I can start. As you can see here, my knee is already in place to go for the side smash. You can't see because of my lapel; it's kind of in the way.
Yeah.
But his leg is inside my legs, and I can just start keeping this. As you can see now, you can see that kind of leg pin idea. I'm pinning this leg to the mat. Now I can just start side smashing to this direction here. And I grab the collar again. This isn't my preferred side smash side, but I still do it quite often. And once again, you can see I'm really pinning everything here. And now I'm kind of just waiting here, honestly. I noticed that his knee is outside. Ideally, if I wanted to go for this pass, this side smash pass, his knee would be right about here. As you can see, my center line is right here, right? That's my center line. If I could somehow get his kneecap just to the right of the center line. So let's see here. Let's see what tools we can play with. Oh, that doesn't work. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. So this is my center line, right? And this is his knee here. If I could somehow get his knee to this spot right here, right across the center line. If it's here, still not that helpful. It's better than what it is now, but still not there. But if I can get it right here, now I can really start putting tons of pressure with my chest forward and really just like make his life hell from this position, if that makes sense. So let's keep going here. But he is doing a good job flaring out that knee. And I wasn't able to maintain this leg pin. He actually has a nice elevation there. But here I'm honestly like kind of tired. I'll be honest. I'm a little bit tired from all that running and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just staying extra safe, waiting for the right time to really start putting a lot of pressure. But always staying safe, as you can see here.
When you came up?
Say again?
Break the lasso grip when you came up on that one?
I don't know. I don't know if he had a lasso. He kind of just like...
Yeah, it was...
Oh, maybe he did have the lasso, yeah. But I just kept my hand here, and I started walking my hand up. I just started walking my hand up. He didn't really have a strong lasso. Probably not a smart idea for that guy to keep that grip. I would have, if I was with him on bottom, I would have switched to this collar grip right away, because it's a really, really strong frame, and it wouldn't allow me to start getting closer and closer.
Yeah, and he's not really controlling your upper body right now.
Exactly, not yet. Now he grabs the lapel. But he is doing a good job. He's controlling. Now he switched to the sleeve. He's controlling my pants, so I can't really go crazy. And he's controlling my sleeve, so now I kind of have to make a collar grip here. And then he throws this lasso. See, that was a smart move, I guess. But because he threw this lasso without having like complete control over my arm, like as you can see here, like my arm is far back. Look how far back my elbow is.
Yeah.
Like I knew he was like, right when I saw his leg elevate, like how it is now, I knew he was going to start going for like some sort of lasso or some sort of stronger control. But with my elbow back like this, no matter what you really try and do with my arm, like it's just not gonna happen. Like as you can see, like my elbow is super far back, and it's going to be really, really difficult for him to really do much of, or really have any real control over this arm until he somehow separates this elbow from my hip. Because whenever you're like like whenever you're passing, you always want to keep your elbows relatively close to your chest so that your opponent can't go for omoplatas or anything like that. So that's basically what I'm doing here, is I'm just staying extra safe. But he's going to go for the lasso anyway, which isn't necessarily a mistake. It's just he's being a little bit overzealous, and I wouldn't have gone for it. But because he went for it with my arm so far back, my hand is easily, like, very much free to not actually be put in the lasso. So you'll see I'll just keep it low, and I'll start bringing my hand to this direction here.
Does he have a grip on your sleeve here?
Yes, he does. He does.
Okay.
He's trying to pull the lasso, but because my hand is like I said before,
down.
my elbow is really close to my chest. He won't really have that option. And then it should be relatively easy. See how my hand is on the outside of his leg
Yeah.
here? Yeah. It's a really, really weak lasso. If I was him, I would pull my leg out. I would pull my my lasso leg out and go spider or something like that, or just try and regain control of that sleeve, because keeping your leg in this lassoed position from here is just going to give me even more leverage to break his grip.
Okay.
And you can see as well, I'm actually re-gripping his sleeve because I'm going to start like doing like a lumberjack motion to really like rip that grip away.
And at this point, do you have any concern about his grip on your right leg?
Not really, man. I like live in this position, this like De La Riva position here, both on bottom and on top. So I know pretty much every single, I would say I know every single option he has from this position, every single viable option from this position. I'm completely ready and aware of it, and I know exactly how to react to it. So I'm not really worried at all. And then I start always pushing this leg down, because I want to start putting a little bit of pressure forward and stepping over this leg to enter that side smash position. Especially from De La Riva, I like to start side smash, and then if my opponent reacts and it actually has a good reaction by switching his hips or whatever it is, then I'll start entering into a knee cut or that over position. And as you can see here, once again, I'm kind of like resting in these positions. I'm putting pressure and I'm staying safe, and I'm still advancing, but at the same time, I'm not like going crazy. I feel like that's something that's really, really useful. Rather than just like resting legitimately, like, all right, I'm just going to like hold these grips and chill. Like I'm resting to a degree, but I'm still pushing forward. I still have this forward pressure. And this foot on the hip that he has is actually a good idea. He's somewhat keeping the distance, making it more difficult. But it's not very, very strong because my elbow...
You're already inside.
Exactly. My elbow is already inside. Like, as you can see here, this elbow is already inside, so it's going to be really, really difficult for that foot on the hip to really do much of anything. And as you can see here, I'm walking his hips to this side, entering that side smash position I was talking about earlier, which is one of my favorite passes for sure. And now I'm really, really in deep here. I do lose his position somehow. Yeah, he gets up to his elbow. There we go. Yeah, this is the main defense from this position, to get up to your elbow. And I should have been a little bit quicker. I was a little bit slow here to grab his arm, to get up to stop him from getting up to his elbow. Ideally, I would have trapped that right away, but that was all right. I was pretty safe here. I feel like with a 2-point lead, and I'm getting into these really, really strong positions. Like in my head, this match was already won after I got the sweep, to be honest with you. I think I actually do pass. He turns his hips like so, and this was not a bad option, but it really, really gives me just the ability to start kicking out this hook. Yeah, it was not too difficult to just.
You just like pummeled over, right?
Exactly. I actually, from here, I've actually, very few people have done this kind of weird position here. His goal from this position would be to grab my belt and kind of use his arm like almost as an overhook to trap my arm, and then use his hook to elevate me and then throw me this way. That's kind of like a sweep option that he would have from that position. But as you can see, my leg is really, really far and widely based, so that would be really difficult. but I think that's what he was attempting to do. But now I can basically just switch my hips, as you'll see here in a second. I start switching my hips to the side just like that, and I just start shaking off that hook, like shake, shake, and I'm out. And then I have the pass. And when I pass, I like this position here a lot. See how I'm really, really just over his body, putting shoulder pressure here.
So you're not looking for the crossface right away?
No, not right away. I need to like stabilize everything and then grab the crossface. And you can see as well, like in the most basic class, you're always taught to like bring your knee to your opponent's hip to stop his hip from moving, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. Just super basic technique. And now I can finally, once I feel like I settled into position, now I can like start moving up his body even more. And now I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty satisfied, basically. But I do have this like tendency, like I have a tendency to, what's the word? I don't know why I'm moving. I think I'm like skipping ahead. Well, that wasn't me. Okay, well I think. Sorry about that. I think he basically I gave up on the pass because I have this tendency to kind of like once I pass and I know that his guard is not overly dangerous or I feel like I'm very, very comfortable in his guard, I often sometimes actually prefer to be in the guard rather than to be in side control. Now, why is that? Because in side control, people do like really, really weird stuff. They'll like start feeding lapels. They'll start like going for really weird stuff. But in the guard, I know basically everything that could happen. So I don't ever like feel scared. But sometimes it's kind of a funny thing. Sometimes in side control, I actually feel like, man, this guy is like doing some weird stuff. So I might as well just like pass him again. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of like let up pressure. And then he stood up, and then I repulled. It doesn't show that in the match, but that's basically what happened. We stood back up, and I repulled into close guard. And I also like a close guard to a degree. It is a really, really strong guard. And you'll see here that I actually start going for these different tilt options.
Yeah, I see you're already going for that cross.
Exactly.
Obviously.
This is really nice here. Hudson Mateus, I studied him a lot. That's another person that I studied a lot. And he's really, really good at these different like hip tilt sweeps from close guard. And as you can see here, I tilt my hips to the side, and it really gets his off balance, and then I can start coming up to the mount. I don't succeed in this position, but it was pretty neat. Let's check it one more time. Like he brings his knee in the middle, and then I just do a nice easy tilt. It's really, really powerful.
Was that because he was defending so hard against that collar that he was off balance enough to the side where it was easy to pull him over?
It was more so he was going for this classic. Yeah, exactly. This classic close guard escape where you put your knee in the middle. It is a decent escape, but it definitely leaves yourself open for this kind of thing. And because my butt is in the center of his knee, it allows me to use my hips to start driving his upper body to the side. And I'm kind of like using my butt to trap his knee in place. And therefore, his knee won't be able to move and kind of base out. So he'll just kind of like topple over. And then ideally, I would come up to the mount from this position. I would like, and you can see even I use my left hand. I'm trying to get that cross grip now on his sleeve so I can easily unlock my legs and come up. But he is holding my hand really well and not allowing me to do that. So, and it was kind of just like an attempt. I wasn't overly like wanting it. Like now from this position, I'm up 5-0. I mean, I'm pretty much just cruising from here on out. And this is like still an early match in the tournament, so I don't want to be going crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And here I'm just going for these classic muscle sweep attempts, which is always good to, in the eyes of the ref, like, oh, he's trying to sweep the guy. But once again, we're in the exact same position that we were in the very, very beginning of this match with his left knee forward.
And you were saying you prefer when people pass to your right side, correct?
Not necessarily. It's kind of funny. I prefer to play De La Hiva when on my opponent's right leg, but I prefer to play half guard on this side, which is a little bit unique to me and a few others. because oftentimes passers, they don't like to have their left knee forward. They actually prefer their right leg forward. But when the passer has his right knee forward and going for like a knee cut, I always try and square back up and go to De La Hiva. But when my passer has his left leg forward, I try to do exactly what I'm doing here, play this like keymaster style in order to lift into the single leg X.
Was that something you did consciously? Like, I know Marcelo on one side passes high and one side passes low. Did you think like each side had a different guard game to be able to defend?
Well, not necessarily. This is once again just the idea that I'm constantly looking for the X guard, and I want X guard on this side here. So I guess it is conscious to a degree. I'm playing on this side just in order to get to X guard on the other side. And when I play De La Hiva on this side as well, or when I'm playing any guard, when my opponent has his right leg forward, once again I'm trying to get to X guard in the most efficient and fast and best possible way. And that best possible way is going to De La Hiva, from reverse De La Hiva to De La Hiva, and then elevating like I do for the seagull sweep or anything like that. And basically just that. I have different options from both sides, just like Marcelo does. But mainly, like I said before, I have options from every single position that my opponent throws at me. Multiple options, actually, to get to single leg X. And this time he steps over. But again, I'm really, really safe here because of this hook inside. Once again, this is that reverse De La Hiva / butterfly position. And then he brings his leg up really, really high here. And it's just a free X guard.
Just gives it perfect entry right there.
Or actually, maybe not. Maybe it was. Yeah, I think he was actually holding my collar, so I couldn't. I was actually, never mind, not as free as I hoped. But again, I'm always pushing this collar, sleeve, underneath him.
Yeah.
Trying to elevate him ahead. But now he's actually, I think in this position, yeah, he gives me the pants. And now when I have the pants and the collar, it's way, way easier rather than collar and sleeve to enter the X guard, as you'll see in a second. I kind of just like scoop my hips underneath, do like a forward shrimp, and then I'm back in the position.
So when you're grabbing the collar, do you tend to go deep or low end and shallow? Like what's your preferred grip?
Man, honestly, I don't think too much about it. I just grab 4 fingers inside. The higher, I don't necessarily go too high. I go normally right around his collarbone, right in this area. But higher is good too. But having a higher grip makes your opponent feel more threatened. Like he's like, oh shoot, I really, really have to break this grip. Maybe he's gonna choke me or whatever it is. So in having just a slightly lower grip, maybe your opponent won't respect it as much, and in him not respecting it as much, it'll be much, much easier for you to sweep him or enter into a strong position like I just did. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then once again, I go for this underhook. Man, I love this underhook here so much. I was with the pants, and normally from the pants is where I do all my seagull attacks, is when I just have the pants. But I definitely, in regards to playing single leg X and just overall balances, I prefer to get this underhook here. Exactly. And in turning my hips, looking for this pant grip, as you saw in a second, I was turning my hips. I was reaching for this pant grip. It kind of opens the space in between my hips and his leg, therefore allowing me to reach underneath the leg and get this underhook. And now I'm pretty much set here. And now I have tons of options. Again, I go for that same little tilt sweep option. And you'll see an even better example here in a second. And you see I'm playing with this cross sleeve. There we go.
Yeah.
That was really nice. Like, man, he's just constantly off balance. The more he postures, the more he falls.
So when you're doing that tilt sweep, when you have tilt sweep, when you have the cross sleeve grip, are you pulling that back with you?
See, the cross sleeve grip here is not really doing much of anything. Everything that's doing work is the thing that I described earlier.
So it's just preventing it from posting.
Yeah, it's just preventing. Oh, that's an accident. I don't know what that was. Sorry about that. What the heck? There we go. Sorry about that. Basically, this cross sleeve grip is just like a bonus. I don't need this to do the sweep, but it is nice to have. He was grabbing my sleeve, so normally when somebody grabs your sleeve, you can just re-grip it, and then it becomes your grip, unless he's really just really strong with it. But as you can see here, my foot is coming behind his knee once again, and then that back foot that's still on the hip here is once again going to start dragging down, and then my left arm, not this arm, this is my right arm, is going to start lifting up, and then once again this one is going to kick out. So there's so many different, like as you can see all the arrows, this is kind of where everything is going in order to create this off balance. It's a really, really powerful off balance, man. And look at that. Then I just chop it. And he's always going to fall in post and have to recollect himself in some way. I love the position, honestly. And now from this position, I'm up 5-0, so I'm not really in any rush to do much of anything. But it was very, very simple. Like in order to stand up from the position, like this is kind of how you sweep from the position. You sweep, and then you switch the cross pant. As you'll see here in a second, I switched the cross pant. Yeah, there we go. You see how I made that little grip switch? I swept. My hand was on the sleeve. Now it's going to switch to that cross pant to make it easier for me to come up. Because now that I have the pants, with my right hand, I can use my left hand. I can use my left hand to collect my base, as you'll see here in a second. So I bring my left hand back, and then I can stand up very easily. And now here, like there's 12 seconds left in the match. I'm pretty much set. I'm not even really worried about any of this. I'm just holding on, just like, why is this guy going for this weird toe hold? And then I let go. I'm like, all right, dude. That's about it. And that's the match, man.
That was amazing, especially to hear you talk through it. You talked earlier about how you are having instructional come out in about the next 2 weeks. Is that on XGuard exclusively?
That will be on XGuard. That will be on completely XGuard. I don't know how to cancel the screen share here.
Thank you. So thank you so much for that breakdown. It was really fascinating. You said you had a instructional coming out soon. Is that exclusively on XGuard?
Yeah, it's going to be, the instructional is like this. It's kind of formatted in a different idea. You see so many instructionals these days that just like they show you tons of different techniques from XGuard. Oh, shoot. Sorry, my settings changed here. An accident.
Do you want to restart or?
Oh, I think we're good. I think.
Okay.
So many instructionals these days, they basically just throw you a ton of techniques about, like, say, for example, if the instructional is about XGuard, they're just going to throw you a ton of techniques and you kind of like figure it out yourself, like what's of use and what's of value. But I kind of did it a little bit differently. I set the first about 25 or so techniques are solely the most efficient and most powerful entries that I found into XGuard from all different positions and all different reactions from that position. For example, in De La Hiva, I showed about like 7 different entries into XGuard based off of my opponent's reaction in regards to what grips he's holding. Is he grabbing my cross sleeve? Is he grabbing my pants? Is he grabbing my collar? What is he grabbing? And then I show the best entries that I found from and based off of my opponent's reactions, rather than just say, here's a bunch of techniques. And then basically I showed 25 techniques, or 25 entries rather, and then I showed about 25 sweeping options from XGuard. And not oftentimes, but the sweeps are quite similar, but how the sweeps are set up and how they're done are slightly different. So I hope it'll be a big success because I put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Where will that be available?
That is actually a secret as of now.
Okay.
So
okay.
That'll come soon, actually.
All right. So I would assume that's going to go up on your Instagram. People will follow you at DC_DeAngelis. And your YouTube is Darin Conner DeAngelis. If you guys really like that breakdown, he's got a couple more, especially with, I think, Merle Santana's on one of them. I had a lot of fun watching those.
Oh, cool. I have one of Marilla Santana, one of my good friend Michael Liera Jr., and then one of myself as well. A different match study that went over more of my passing. This video is more so guard related. Definitely had some passing, but more so guard related. But yeah.
Yeah, and any plans to compete soon? I know we've seen a lot of fight to win shows. Who's number one?
Yeah.
Third Coast.
Yeah, I do have a fight to win match. I think I'm not even sure who I'm competing against on the 24th. of July. And just waiting. I hope everything kind of settles down and gi jiu-jitsu comes back, because right now it definitely seems like the majority of things are no-gi, which is unfortunate, but hopefully in the future.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed having this conversation. I'd love to do it again sometime soon.
100%.
Thank you. And guys, to support the fight site, you can go to our Patreon, which is the fight-site. We have new merch on Teespring. I'm wearing the crew neck right now. We also have long sleeve tees, hoodies, unisex shirts. So if you want to get some gear, especially mugs, which are I think our most popular item, feel free to check that out. And this is Matt from the Fight Site with Darin Conner DeAngelis, and looking forward to the next interview.
Thank you, man.